The Democrats are chewing right now. They don't know what to do. Die-hard leftist Van Jones, who we covered yesterday in the show, former employee of the Obama administration. Even Van Jones, and I've got some Carville stuff later. Remember the Raging Cajun? I got some of that later, too, from MSNBC. But here is Van Jones on CNN. And I said I'd get to the real genius of the speech last night. Tactical takeaway number one. President Trump's appeal and outreach to black voters last night was nothing like I've ever seen before. The GOP, it is a sin, the lack of outreach we've done to a black community that, in my experience, running for office myself, running in the state with the largest percentage of black Democratic voters, Maryland, in my experience, black voters align, of course, not all, stereotypes, positive or negative, are still stereotypes. In my experience, I will tell you, largely aligned through my experience knocking on doors with our conservative values. Steeped deep in faith, spirituality, economic growth, concern for public safety in the communities. These are not white, Asian, Hispanic values. These are American values shared largely by the black community. It is a sin we have failed to crack even 20% of the black vote in a national election. It is a sin. President Trump knows this. And listen to Van Jones on CNN last night. Through President Trump's outreach and the speech, listen to Van Jones, who is literally warning the Democrats. There's a tidal wave coming ashore. You better get ready. Check this out.
He mentioned HBCUs. Our black colleges have been struggling for a long time. A bunch of them have gone under. He threw a lifeline to them in real life, in his budget. He talked about that. He talked about the criminal justice reform. He talked about opportunity zones.
School choice.
He talked about school choice.
Yeah.
Listen, wake up.
He doesn't have to be effective.
Exactly.
He has to be effective to move margins in key states.
And the thing about it is, and I think that we got to wake up, folks. There's a whole bubble thing that goes on. We say, well, he said S-hole nations, therefore all black people are going to hate him forever. That ain't necessarily so. And I think what you're going to see him do is say, you may not like my rhetoric, but look at my results, look at my record to black people. And if he narrowcasts that, it's going to be effective, which means as we move through this primary process, we've got to pay a lot more attention both to what's going on with the Latino vote. Are we going to get a benefit in terms of having them respond? And with the black vote, is there going to be a split off, especially for black male voters? We got to be clinical about this stuff. We get so emotional about it. That was a warning to us, a warning shot across the bow of Democrats that he's going after enough black folks to cause us problems. It's not just the white suburban voters. He's going after black.
Listen, let me be clear on this, too. For as much as I disagree with a lot of Van Jones's nonsense, especially that dopey comment I covered yesterday about how Iowa, because there are a lot of white people like that, we should get. That was just dumb. Van Jones isn't stupid. His analysis of what's going on is absolutely accurate. Folks, don't ever forget, and we covered this weeks ago. I know, Joe, you remember it. If a GOP candidate for president, this time obviously it's going to be Donald Trump, were to acquire up to 20% of the black vote, just 20%, the Democrat Party would be done for generations. That is a statistical fact, an algorithmic tautological certainty. The Democrats cannot win a national election if Republicans, and a national vote, the Republican candidate for president gets 20+% of the black vote. There's no math for them. You would see states like Pennsylvania with large black populations in Philadelphia and some of the cities and some of the suburbs around Philadelphia. You would see Pennsylvania turn in the GOP column with their, 27 electoral votes. Overnight, it'd be over. Michigan, large population of black voters. If President Trump pulls 20% of the vote in Detroit, it's over. It's over. And don't you find it comical that the big three, media, academia, congressional committees, in unison, Joe. President Trump, such a dope. Man, what you're reading. Remember the CNN and your math and your geography and you're lying on them, you dumb rubes, stupid Trump. Yeah. Hayseeds.
I hate that.
Well, who's the dumb one now? President Trump has spent the weekend on the Super Bowl, runs an ad to 148 million Americans who watch the Super Bowl, targeting what? Criminal justice reform. Again, not a policy, candidly, I'm a huge fan of. But there's no question, I'm just giving you the numbers, a policy prescription he signed on to, President Trump, that has large support in the black community. That was his ad. Paula, what did I say to you during the Super Bowl when that aired? Did I not look at you and go, genius?
You just heard the Dan Bongino Show. You can also get Dan's podcasts on iTunes or SoundCloud. And follow Dan on Twitter 24/7 @DBongino.